Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in this gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. Here is a video that was sent among the brotherhood, or the group chat that I'm currently subscribed to with the elder brothers. And the Spirit had a brother to share this video. And I may have watched maybe 14, 15 minutes of it because it's 43 minutes long. But of course, it's AI generated, which AI stands for artificial intelligence. But it says Iran reveals CIA and FBI monitoring black Israelites right now, which this is not a thing of surprise to us because we understand through what they call the Project Megiddo and the Southern Poverty Law Center. They've been infiltrating and monitoring this movement since its inception in the mid to late 1960s. As with every so-called Negro movement, Esau always set up spies and COINTELPRO and men to monitor particular actions of so-called black people, because they understand that there was to be an awakening among our people, okay? But you have things like the Black Panther, you had the Black Panthers, you had the Nation of Islam, okay? You had all these different Back to Africa movements, Marcus Garvey, which I believe in some cases he succeeded, but you had the lure of Minister Farrakhan, Malcolm X, you know, what's this other guy's name? Several different so-called black activist groups that have tried to advocate for our people, which a lot of those leaders are actually, in fact, set up by Esau. But even the Hebrew Israelite movement, you have spies and moles among this movement, because through the Spirit, like they're going to reveal in the video, that they're looking for a black Messiah figure to rise up and to restore order to our people. And the main reason why this truth has been targeted and will be targeted, and the reason why they will come after us, as they mentioned in this video, is not because of a violent standpoint, but because you have what they call political views and central religious perspectives, mainstream ideology as to who the true biblical Israelites are versus the mainstream narratives that they're the small hats in Israel, and that mainstream Christianity teaches that so-called Jesus, which his name was Yahweh Shai, was the so-called white man, and the fact that our people have not faced any type of oppression. So it challenges those mainstream views, and this is the reason why we have the likings of Vocab Malone. This is the reason why we have these apologists coming up to us. This is the reason why they're doing debates with certain Hebrew Israelite camps, because it's all part of a surveillance quo. Okay, and I believe that all these men that's coming up against this truth, I believe they all have been sent from Dr. James White, the Edomite, Michael Brown, not Michael Brown, what's this guy's name? Not Michael Brown, but James White, the Edomite, fucking Vocab Malone, and you got several other men that have used their platform to try to demonize this movement, okay, which we know that Vocab Malone is actually sent. He's definitely an agent, okay? But what they don't understand is that this truth, it can't be stopped, because this is ordained through the Heavenly Father and his Son. So no matter what they throw at us, no matter what type of monkey wrench or what type of Negro they set up to do damage and to do damage control, it's not going to work. Okay, because even among our own people that know they're Israelites, you got men that sold out to these particular Jesuit orders, man. And you got a lot of them that call themselves Israelites that's over some of these major camps, believe it or not. All right. So with that, I'm going to play a couple of minutes of this video, but I'm going to interject, bring out a few precepts, and we get the point. But to show you, brothers, they know who we are, and eventually they will roll on us. So just prepare your minds and your spirits.
Iran reveals CIA and FBI are monitoring black Israelites right now.
And let me stop it real quick. They call it black Hebrew Israelites because that term black goes into being dead, right? And also black is a government buzzword, or a buzzword for these police groups like the CIA, the FBI, like Black Panthers, the Black political parties, black Hebrew Israelites. They label us black because that way central mainstream media, they don't really have to address us in mainstream, but instead they can investigate us behind the curtain, because they're not going to say, oh, well, black Hebrew Israelites are the face of domestic terrorism, because for the simple fact, if they say black Hebrew Israelites, that do away with the narrative of who we really are. That way they can add into their so-called white counterpart being the Jews in Israel, which they're not the people of the Bible. They're not the actual JOOs. Okay? In fact, they're the tribe of Amalek from the nation of Edom. Okay? Just to put that out there. So disregard the black Israelite thing. The black, just X that out. They know exactly who we are. All right?
1. Iran's shocking discovery: U.S. intelligence agencies are watching black Israelites. The revelation that U.S. intelligence agencies, particularly the CIA and FBI, have placed the black Israelite movement under intense surveillance has ignited widespread debate and speculation, raising profound questions about the nature of state power, historical narratives, and the limits of religious and civil liberties. According to Iranian intelligence sources, American authorities perceive the movement as a potential destabilizing force, justifying covert monitoring and infiltration. This assertion invites deeper reflection on...
And this is why you have certain leaders that's pushing a certain doctrine. Like you got guys that's calling in the name of Yahweh Shai, they call him Christ. All right, you got guys that adopt a more of a Jesuit or Masonic approach with their flashy style garbs and their uniform or their uniformity. All these guys are uniformed, and they come in the same spirit, they come in the same attire, which those are done by PR firms, which PR firms can be set up by Esau. You got some guys that change the doctrine, men that's pushing damnable heresies. You got a lot of guys in the truth that's actually set up by these people, believe it or not. All right, you got guys that come in that fraternal order spirit, IUIC, that comes to my reason of thought. All right.
motivations behind such scrutiny, the extent of governmental intervention, and the broader philosophical implications of knowledge, control, and state authority. While Iran's claim may be shaped by its own geopolitical agenda, the mere suggestion that a religious community rooted in black identity and biblical heritage is being watched so closely by the U.S. government rekindles long-standing concerns about surveillance, racial politics.
And remember, Trump calls us the prophet of doom. Okay, so just because they're not addressing us head on directly doesn't mean that they're not paying attention. Okay, if I've said it's going to come a time that Esau is going to have to confront this truth on the world stage, because people are waking up to them not being who they say they are. And that's becoming common knowledge even among their own people. You got some of their own rabbis and scholars that admits that they're not the actual Israelites of the Bible. All right. Let's do this. Project Megiddo. Let's do this real quick. Contemporary violent extremism and black Hebrew Israelite movement. I don't know if they removed it off this, but I remember a while ago, the Hebrew Israelites was part of this. Yep, here you go. It says Project Megiddo was a report research written by the United States Federal Bureau of Investigations under Direct Louis Freach, released in October 20 of 1999, and a report named Followers of White Supremacy, Christian Identity, and American Militia Movement, Black Hebrew Israelites, which were not Black Hebrew Israelites, and apocalyptic cults as potential T-words who may become violent in reaction to the new millennium. Hence why they grabbed up the apostles during the time of the Nueve Once, all right, back in 2001. Just to put that out there. So they've been watching us. They're watching us very closely, man. And don't think for 1 second that they're not talking to people like your jobs and people in your family, even other men in camps, man, about us and monitoring us and watching what we do and what we say and monitoring our internet activity, what we search, what we look at on TV. Hey, I won't be surprised. They literally following brothers around everywhere they go just to find out that we ain't on shit. So he can investigate until the fucking world turns over. He ain't gonna find nothing. But regardless, he's gonna still roll on us because he's the devil. And he's afraid because Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come back. And that's the biggest ordeal. And this is why they grabbed up Yahushua, man, because when you go into Matthew's the 26th chapter, when Herod, no, not Herod, when Pilate was asking him, he said, "Art thou a king of the Jews?" And he said, "Thou sayest." So that's in contrast with what Esau believes, okay? Because in his mindset, if you saying that there's a different government that's getting to come and take over and build this kingdom, this utopia on earth, then what does that mean for me and my people? That they're getting ready to go down. So he's highly afraid. All right, so let me get a precept, then I'm going to go back to this video. Slaki, I don't want to continue to interject, but you know, the spirit be hot. But let's start with Ezekiel 37, because this is where it starts at. Okay, so this is the book of Ezekiel 37, and I'm going to start at verses 1. It says, "And the hands of Yahweh was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of dry bones." Now, the valley represents Babylon, America. Okay, and the dry bones represents our people. And if you look at the condition that Israelites are in now, you can very well see why this metaphor or this alliteration would contribute to Jake being a bunch of dry bones. Because niggas is just gone, man. All right, and they're getting worse and worse by the second. And it says, "And caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, they were very," it says, "there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry." All right, these dusty Negroes, you know, on drugs, opiates, you know, prostitution, drug dealing, gang banging, let alone the prison population in itself is full with Israelites, man. Okay, which we supposed to be the minority, which we are actually the majority. But for a nation of people that only commit 29% of the crimes, we fill up the jails up to 70%. The incarceration rate of our people is damn near 75%. So make it make sense. But it says, "And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yahweh, thou knowest. And he said unto me, Prophecy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord." And this is what we're out there doing. We're out there speaking to our people, the dry bones, all right, which is you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners out there. And it says here, and thus says, it says, "Prophecy unto the bones, and said to them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. And thus says the Lord Yahweh unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live." And that breath is talking about the spirit, okay, of getting our heritage back, because the scriptures say after 3 days, roughly paraphrasing, I will raise thee up. Okay, and when you go into Revelation, the 11th chapter, it goes into after 3.5 days, which is that 350-year period. And it says, "And I will lay sinews upon you, and bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am the Lord," man. All right. So this is what Esau is afraid of. He's afraid of us waking up, because I remember the apostles, they gave a testimony that when they was on 34-7, you know, years ago, they stated that a Edomite yelled out of a limousine or something like that, or some type of expensive vehicle. I believe it was a limousine, and he mentioned, and he could have been one of the elites, lower level elites. He was like, "How do you guys find out? How do you guys mention? How do you guys know this?" Because you got to understand, what we say conflicts directly with mainstream narratives. So therefore, they've spent billions, if not trillions of dollars of keeping this information suppressed. And the Lord is exposing it all, man. So that's making Esau afraid, to the point he has to stop what he considered to be a contaminant and to do away with it, man. All right, so let's go back to the video.
Politics and the mechanisms through which dominant powers seek to regulate historical discourse. The Black Israelite movement has long occupied a space of fascination, controversy, and misrepresentation. At the core of its belief system is the assertion that African Americans, along with other people of color, are the true descendants of the biblical Israelites. This claim challenges conventional Judeo-Christian teachings and Western historical narratives, positioning the movement as both a religious and socio-political force.
And this is why they come up against us. This is why vocab is sent. This is why those apologists are sent. This is why the conscious community, they want to do debates with us all the time. Because as much as we defend the gospel and we've proved our point, they still want to figure out how to debunk what we say. But they can't, because the scriptures say if this thing is of men, it will come to naught. Okay, they can't stop this truth no matter what. They may be able to take out certain players, and certain guys may ride the bench with injury to the point their career is over. But overall, man, the real starting lineup will not be defeated, starting with Yahweh Shai. So it's not going to happen. They can send as many people, as many troops. They can surveil us. They can, hell, they can put another $1 trillion into suppressing it. The truth is out. The cat is out the bag. The oil is out of the bucket. Okay?
Over the past several decades, Black Israelite communities have gained visibility in urban centers across the United States, drawing adherents through teachings centered on identity, spirituality, and historical justice. For many followers, the movement is not merely a theological framework, but a radical act of reclamation, a means
Just found out this dirty little secret that this ex-insurance executive exposed on TikTok.
of restoring a lost heritage and resisting systemic oppression. In their view, the recognition of their lineage is not just an abstract intellectual exercise, but an existential awakening, one that empowers African Americans and other marginalized communities to redefine themselves outside the constraints of a Eurocentric historical paradigm. Given this transformative ideology, it is unsurprising that the movement has attracted both admiration and scrutiny. Supporters regard Black Israelites as truth seekers who challenge historical inaccuracies, while detractors, including some mainstream religious institutions and government bodies, frame them as a radical or subversive force. According to Iranian intelligence reports, U.S. authorities have designated the Black Israelite movement as a high-risk group due to its growing influence, its engagement with historical revisionism, and its potential to mobilize disenfranchised communities in ways that disrupt existing power structures. Iran claims to have intercepted communications and reviewed classified documents, indicating that American intelligence agencies have deployed a range of covert strategies to monitor and control the movement.
Yeah, going back into this whole Google and this whole Google and YouTube merge. YouTube used to be a separate entity from Google until they bought them. I think they bought them up maybe back in 2014, 15, because I remember I was able to have a YouTube account completely free of having a Google account. Now all of a sudden they merged. And notice that most cell phones require you, or most cell phones, you have to register through a Gmail, because that way they're able to link your identity. Same thing with the censoring and all this other stuff. You see, so they're definitely doing something. They're definitely monitoring our whereabouts and what we say. Okay, this is why with this guy Elon Musk, which now they're trying to make him the victim because all these Tesla stores and factories are being attacked and people shooting in Tesla factories and vandalizing them allegedly. But remember, when he bought Twitter, he basically gave people the quote unquote right of free speech. But what we found out is that eventually they're going to monetize Twitter to the point that, certain talking points will get you fined or get you booted offline, man. So what I believe, like Alex Jones and them guys that they set up is controlled opposition. When people buy their merchandise, I highly believe that people that watch these videos and buy the merchandise, I really believe that Esau puts them on a particular list to watch out for, man, because the thing of it is, he doesn't want anybody waking up to his folly, to his wickedness, because he's caught. Like the scriptures go into how the hidden things of Esau are searched out. The Lord has put a scopeo under this devil, and now he's on the fence. So he's getting ready to make a move. All right. And we really believe that. And that's why this Passover is to be taken seriously, because, hey, he may move. Hey, Esau may try to move on us, man, sooner than later. So anyway, let's get this real quick. I'm going to come back to that Acts 4. But, like we say, they surveilling us. So this is the book of Psalms. I think it's Psalm 17. And, yep, let's start Psalm 17. And let's start at verses 8. It says, keep me as the apple of thy eye, and hide me under the shadow of thy wings from the wicked that oppress me. And when you go into this document that we're listening to, basically, they was breaking down on how they're monitoring us, because any type of so-called black eccentric figure that rise prominently out of the so-called black race, they want to keep us oppressed. And the fact that we're finding out who we are, Esau is in trouble, because that means the end of his kingdom, which was a primary prophecy that when we got up and when we found out who we were, this marks the end. So ain't no 1,000 years from now that's going to transpire with this man in power. No. We know who we are. So therefore, hey, Yahweh Shai is getting ready to take this man down. Okay, which is part of the prophecy. But it says, from the wicked that oppress me, from my daily enemies who can pass me about. Now, if you watch that movie called They Clone Tyrone, remember they had these data centers and they had these surveillance centers right in Jake's neighborhoods, man. To the point, one of the surveillance centers was inside of a trap house in a damn closet, and it was like in a version of an elevator that led him down to a laboratory where they was monitoring Jake, watching their every move. They was right in the neighborhoods, controlling and doing espionage on niggas. You know, convincing or not convincing, but my words leaves me at this time, but influencing Jake through certain political movements like the BLM, which is set up by a bunch of Marxists, okay, different religions, particular political idioms like, you know, with the LGBT ordeal. You know, Jake has been the product of experiment since we got over here. And they're doing it right under your nose, man. Okay, you can have a whole goddamn government data center right underneath your house and you won't even know. Tapping into you, watching you when you take a shower, watching your kids run around the house, you know, listening to your conversations. Like, I really believe our apartments are, I believe my